Welcome to video. In this video I will tell a true story about strange sounds coming from the cemetery. I hope you like the story. Let's move on to the video. In a remote and forgotten village nestled deep within the woods, there lay a cemetery unlike any other. It was a desolate place, where time seemed to have stood still, and the gravestones bore the weight of centuries-old secrets. The villagers, gripped by fear, seldom spoke of it, for they believed the spirits of the departed wandered the graveyard, seeking to tell their haunting tales. One moonless night, when the stars were veiled by thick, ominous clouds, a group of daring adventurers gathered at the outskirts of the village, armed with flashlights that cast erratic beams in the darkness. They dared one another to explore the cemetery, a place that had long been shrouded in mystery. As they entered the cemetery, a profound chill settled upon them, and the wind whispered in the ancient trees with a mournful cadence. Their laughter, strained and uneasy, did little to dispel the unsettling atmosphere that enveloped them. It was not long before they heard a strange and disconcerting sound, unlike anything they had ever encountered, a series of eerie, echoing moans that seemed to emanate from deep within the earth itself. The group froze in place, their flashlights trembling in their trembling hands. As they strained to identify the source of the unnerving noise, the unearthly sounds continued, growing louder and more distinct, as if beckoning them further into the heart of the cemetery. Against their better judgment, they decided to follow the eerie trail of sound, their footsteps echoing on the worn cobblestone path as they ventured deeper into the cemetery. The intensity of the sounds intensified. Ghostly whispers carried by the wind became audible, telling of forgotten tragedies and unfulfilled promises. Shadows danced among the tombstones, and the air grew heavy with sorrow and regret. Finally, they arrived at an old, weathered mausoleum, its door slightly ajar, as if inviting them inside. The mournful sounds seemed to emanate from within, as if pleading for release. With trepidation, they entered the mausoleum, and their flashlights revealed a dimly lit chamber adorned with ancient coffins and crumbling relics. In the center of the room they found an ornate, dusty journal, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and stories of the dead. As they read, the journal recounted the tale of a grieving widow who had been wronged by the village elders, and buried alive, her anguished spirit had lingered in the mausoleum, whispering her grievances to anyone who dared to listen. Suddenly, the door to the mausoleum slammed shut behind them, plunging them into total darkness. The eerie moans and whispers grew more intense, swirling around them like a haunting symphony. Fear gripped their hearts as they realized they were trapped. In a desperate attempt to calm the tormented spirit, they recited the journal's words, acknowledging the widow's pain and injustice. A pale, ghostly light filled the room, and before their eyes, the spirit of the wronged woman materialized, her eyes filled with sorrow and longing. She gazed at them with a mixture of gratitude and sadness before slowly fading away. As her presence dissipated, the mausoleum door creaked open, granting the adventurers their freedom. They stumbled out of the mausoleum, shaken but alive, their hearts heavy with the weight of the widow's tragic tale. From that night forward, they would forever be haunted by the strange sounds that had echoed from the cemetery. A reminder that the boundary between the living and the dead was not always clear, And so, the village's eerie cemetery remained a place of whispered secrets and lingering spirits, a testament to the enduring power of the past. Now it's time for the story that I will tell about a person who had an accident at night. I hope you like the story. Have fun while listening. In a remote, fog-shrouded town nestled deep within a thick, ancient forest, there was an unsettling tale that was whispered among the villagers. They spoke of a cursed stretch of road that wound its way through the dense woods, a road where accidents always seemed to happen, especially at night. No one dared to traverse it after sunset, for it was believed that the road itself hungered for souls. One moonless night, as the village slumbered in the eerie silence of the forest, a solitary traveler named Ethan found himself on that fated road. His destination was on the other side of the forest, and he had no choice but to brave the cursed path. The night was enveloped in a profound silence, broken only by the low hum of his engine and the rustling of leaves in the wind. As he drove deeper into the woods, a palpable sense of dread washed over him, as if unseen eyes were watching his every move. Ethan's heart raced as he continued along the winding road, the trees looming like silent sentinels on either side. His headlights revealed twisted branches that seemed to claw at the sky, casting eerie, dancing shadows on the road. Suddenly, the air grew unnaturally cold, and his headlights flickered, casting eerie, elongated shadows that danced on the dark asphalt. His car's engine sputtered, and he felt an inexplicable force tugging at the steering wheel, pulling him off the road. In a state of panic, Ethan tried to regain control of his vehicle, but it was as if an invisible hand had seized the wheel. The car veered off the road and crashed into a gnarled oak tree, its metallic groans and splintering wood filling the night air. Dazed and disoriented, Ethan slowly climbed out of the wreckage. The forest around him was impenetrably dark, save for the dim glow of his now damaged headlights. It was then that he heard a mournful, ghostly whisper, a voice that seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves. "Help me," the voice pleaded, filled with sorrow and despair. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest as he scanned the darkness, searching for the source of the haunting voice. As his eyes adjusted to the dim light, he saw a shadowy figure approaching him, a woman, her form indistinct and ethereal. She was dressed in tattered, blood-soaked clothing, her face obscured by long, tangled hair. Ethan stumbled backward, his heart pounding in his chest. As the woman drew nearer, her outstretched, bloodied hand reached toward him, and she continued to beg for help, her voice a tortured wail. Summoning all his courage, Ethan turned and fled from the apparition, crashing through the underbrush as he sought to escape the nightmarish scene. The forest seemed to close in around him, the trees twisting and contorting as if alive, and the woman's haunting cries echoed in his ears. Finally, he burst through the trees and onto a familiar road. His car nowhere in sight, he ran, gasping for breath, until he reached the nearest town, where he recounted his harrowing encounter to the bewildered villagers. No trace of his car was ever found, and the forest road remained as it always had, an eerie, cursed path that few dared to traverse. And so the legend of the cursed forest road lived on, a grim tale told to those who dared to venture deep into the heart of the night. where the line between the living and the supernatural blurred into darkness. I hope you enjoy the stories. See you in the next video.